I was sent to Austria to shoot digital content for Range Rover. We shot in Austria because Land Rover does a lot of altitude testing there. First thing I noticed was when we were at the top of the peak, the air was a lot thinner. It was a lot harder to breathe. The weather changed quite a bit. At the bottom of the mountain, it was nice. It was like spring, 65 degrees, 70 degrees, clear skies. Halfway up the mountain, it got really foggy, started getting really cold, drop in temperature about 10 degrees. Once we broke through the clouds, it was sunny, but yet cold. Well, there was only one way to drive up there. It was this long, rocky, steep service road. We started with two vehicles. One was a rented SUV. The other was the Range Rover itself, our model, our picture car. Halfway up, the other SUV basically failed. It just gave up. The engine started burning out. You could smell the oil burning. So what we had to do was unpack all of the gear from the other SUV and fit as much as we can into the Range Rover and make multiple trips to make up for what the SUV left behind. Normally you don't do that on a car shoot. You leave the model vehicle alone. You want to keep it as clean and perfect as possible, but we had no other choice at this point. The Range Rover ended up doing double duty. It was our picture car as well as our workhorse. I mean, it got us and the equipment up there. It did a total of 4 trips up and down the mountain. When we first started shooting, I did have to take my time. I mean, the air was thinner, so it was a little bit slower, so I just remembered to pace myself. Being 10,000 feet up in the Alps takes its toll on your body. Towards the end of the day, your body started getting used to it and thinking, hey, we should stay here for a few more days. I mean, it was beautiful all around. There were peaks 360 degrees around us. The shot that you see is as natural as it gets. There was nothing staged about it. It was as simple as parking the Range Rover at the edge of a cliff and just shooting it as is. There was nothing to change. The weather was gorgeous. It was beautiful no matter, what angle you looked at it. I've never been to Austria. In fact, I've never been to Europe. And out of all the European locations, Austria was my favorite.